Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So I am back at it with a voiceless voice deck profile. Again, similar to the other builds I have done, far from a expert on this deck. However, I have played a lot of it on Master Duel. If any of you are familiar with Master Duel, you know you can be an expert with the decks online playing the game, and then you get them in person and you pretty much don't know what to do. So we're gonna see if that's gonna be the case here. I feel pretty decently comfortable with this deck. Kind of reminds me of Sword Soul, fairly linear lines, kind of do the same thing all the time, create like a, not the most intimidating board, however, there is layers to this board. But yeah, so we're gonna go straight into some test hands and kind of show what the deck can do. All right, let's see what we got. So we got one of our starters, Saphira, we got Ash Blossom, Saravis, Diviner, another good starter, and we got 2 hand traps, a brick, and 2 starters. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and go into the Diviner play. So Diviner gets summoned and we get to send a fairy from the deck. So you're always, with Diviner, you're gonna always wanna send Trios, because then Trios gets sent to the graveyard. Trios gets to tribute Diviner, and when Diviner is tributed, we get to special summon a level 2 or lower fairy monster from your hand or deck. So this is how we get into our low. Low is pretty much the main card of the deck, the reason the deck is as strong as it is. So low gets to get special summoned, and low's effect then gets to place a voiceless voice card face up. We're gonna do a Barrier of the Voiceless Voice. So now, Barrier of the Voiceless Voice has multiple layers. So while you control low and a light ritual monster, which we're going to get into a little bit, your opponent can only target ritual monsters for attacks. Also, your opponent cannot target light monsters you control with card effects. So very hard to out this card. Usually your opponent's going to want to try and get rid of it somehow. Then during your main phase, and this happens every turn, so this is great for resources. As long as we have this on board, not only is it protection, but then we get the add pretty much every turn. So during your main phase, you can add 1 voiceless voice card or 1 Skull Guardian from your deck to your hand. So usually I would have wanted to grab Saphira, because Saphira is going to get us our ritual. I feel like we could just add another low, or we can actually do the radiance as well. Yeah, because our Saphira is going to end up getting us our Skull Guardian. So you know what, I feel like, yeah, do we just grab low, or should we, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and grab the trap card. Yeah, or we could have also grabbed the other Savaris, the dragon, Saravis, sorry. Yeah, let's see what we do. Actually, we're just gonna go ahead and grab the Savaris. Just to see what happens. Okay. So, yeah, okay. So from here, we are going to activate our Saphira, Dragon Queen of the Voiceless Voice. You can discard this card, send 1 ritual monster from your deck to the graveyard, then you can add a light ritual monster. So again, speaking of Sword Soul, the combos of this are very linear. You're usually gonna always do the same things. So Saphira always sends our Prayers of the Voiceless Voice and adds our Skull Guardian. And then, again, speaking of linear, you're always gonna banish Saphira to special summon our Skull Guardian using our low of the Voiceless Voice, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. Also, if you use low, it doesn't matter what the stars are. If you're familiar with Ritual Summon, you know you always gotta match the stars, but with low, as long as we use low, it pretty much counts as the only monster we need. So Skull Guardian is going to, since he was special summoned, so Skull Guardian is an Omni Negate, and then also, let's see, where is that effect? You can ritual summon this card. When low is on board, it gains 2050 attack. So his attack goes up to 4100, which is really important. You always want to remember that. Then, let's see, Skull Guardian's other effect, we'll just go through it together in case you don't know what the deck does. So we gain the 2050 attack while you have low, which is going to happen right now. Then you can only use 1 of the following effects. Each of the following effects per turn. If this card is ritual summoned, you can add 1 voiceless voice monster or 1 ritual monster from your deck to your hand. Then when your opponent activates a card or effect where you control low, you can negate the activation and destroy the card. So an Omni Negate, very powerful. So Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, low gets to get brought back because if it's in the graveyard and we ritual summon, she can special summon herself. So now we have the Omni Negate on board. His attack goes to 4,100. And then we are now going to add a Voiceless Voice card. So from here, I feel like, let's see. We could add a low for the following turn, or we can add the trap card. I feel like I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the low and then show you the Dynamondo line for this specific play. So I grabbed this Saravis ritual card, thinking I was gonna be able to special summon this one, but we need 2 spell cards on board for that. So for now, we're gonna go into Dynamondo, linking these 2 off. Trias also has another effect, but we don't really use it when it is special summon, but just something to keep in mind. But yeah, so for now, we have Infinite Permanence Ash Blossom in hand. We have the Saravis that acts as a hand trap as well. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster you control, quick effect, you can discard this card, negate the activation. Then, if we're able to special summon this, when your opponent would special summon a monster, quick effect, you can return this card to the hand, negate the special summon, and if you do, banish the monster. Then the other Saravis gets a special summon himself when we have 2 spells in the deck. Again, so I might have misplayed there. But yeah, even with the misplay, we still have 3 hand traps in hand. We have low for the following turn. So then also, we're gonna pass turn. We're going to activate this. So let me just show you. Dynamondo. Don't really use the first effect. So during your opponent's turn, during the standby phase, quick effect, you contribute this card, then target 1 ritual monster in your graveyard and special summon it or add it to your hand. So we're gonna special summon our Skull Guardian, which then, similar to the last turn, gets low. Yeah, pretty much we're doubling up the effects as the last turn. So then, let's see. I don't think we get the, if this card is ritual summoned, yeah, I don't think we didn't ritual summon the Skull Guardian, so I don't think we get the effect. Again, Master Duel player here, so not too sure. I'm gonna go ahead and say we don't get it, but we do get Low's effect. So we get to place a Spiral Trap, Voiceless Voice card. So then that gets us our Radiance of the Voiceless Voice, which is a pop. So Radiance states, target cards your opponent controls up to the number of light ritual monsters you control, destroy both this card and as many targeted cards as possible. So we got a pop, we have the protection with the barrier, we have an Omni Negate, we would have set our Infinite Impermanence, we have follow up, we have the protection with Saravis, and we have Ash Blossom. We have the follow up with another low in hand as well to kind of do the same stuff. Plus, we have Barrier, which gets us another card. Yeah, really powerful stuff. And then again, the protection of the barrier. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do one more test hand. Again, still learning this deck in real life, aside from just using it on Master Duel. Yeah, we'll look into that to see if the Skull Guardian, it says it needs to be ritual summoned, and I'm pretty sure the Dynamondo's effect isn't a ritual summon, it's just special summoning it. So if it does get that effect, it's pretty powerful though. So I'm gonna shuffle up the deck one more time. In regards to how I feel about this deck, I feel it's very powerful when it goes off. It doesn't have too much room for non-engine, however, I do have the Nadir Servant in here. Let's see if we can draw that, because I feel like when we do draw that, the end board is stronger and you just get more draw power, dig into your hand traps that we do run in the deck. I would say it's pretty much a good rogue deck. Kind of expensive considering that it is just rogue, just because Voiceless, or low, the Voiceless Voice is still like $15. So we got 2 hand traps, we drew our brick. So we're gonna go ahead and activate our Barrier of the Voiceless Voice, to add a light ritual monster, or no, you can add one Voiceless Voice or one School Guardian ritual monster. So we already got low, so we're gonna grab our Saphira. Okay, gonna normal summon low, activate low's effect. Let's see. We got the barriers. I feel like we can just go ahead and do the trap card. The other one that we also have is the blessing. Blessing of the Voiceless Voice states you can target one of your Voiceless Voice cards as banished from your graveyard. So this card pretty much gets our trap card back, add it back to your hand. If another non-ritual monster is no more special summon except during the damage step, you can ritual summon one light monster from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field. So an extra ritual summon, but we're just gonna go ahead and do the Radiance for now. Okay, from here we're going to use Saphira, send her to the graveyard, which now sends our prayers, and we're going to add our School Guardian. Okay, from here we're going to banish Saphira, special summon School Guardian by using low, chaining 1, chaining 2. So low gets a special summon herself back, and we're going to do the add with School Guardian. Let's see, what should we add? I feel like we're just going to add the Saravis. Yeah, I feel like that's the best bet for now. So we have 4 cards in hand. We have an Omni Negate. We have a Bounce. So yeah, that's actually the pretty basic board. Again, we could go with the Dynamondo line, but I wouldn't say it's worth it. It's worth risking since we already have the trap on board. I'd rather just keep the Omni Negate in case they have something to interrupt the Dynamondo. Yeah, so even now, we're gonna set the infinite permanence. We have 1 negate, 2 negate, Omni Negate, so 3 negates. We have a light ritual monster, and we have low on board. So we have the protection with barrier. We have 1 pop, so 3 negates, 1 pop. We have protection. We also have the Saravis, which can protect any of the monsters from being targeted. But again, the barrier is pretty much all the protection you need, because what you control low and the light ritual monster, which is both of those two. Your opponent monsters can only target ritual monsters for attack. So his attack is 4,100. So they're not getting over that. Also, your opponent cannot target light monsters you control with card effects. So they can't negate anything, they can't pop anything. They had to get rid of this. Yeah, then on the following turn, during your main phase, you can add 1 Voiceless Voice card or School Guardian. So we get to plus. Yeah, so heavy resource game. Again, we have 1 negate, 2 negate, Omni Negate, 1 pop, protection, and protection right here. So yeah, pretty standard linear lines that the deck kind of does. Let me see if I can go over what would happen if we drew Nadir Servant. And let's just say, so I feel like we already drew low. Let's just say if we got Nadir Servant, we'll go Diviner. I think we did do Diviner though. But let's just say if we just did the Diviner line. Okay, so let's say this is our hand. Okay, so we're gonna normal summon Diviner. Diviner is going to send Trios from the deck to the graveyard, and then from here, Trios is going to bounce Diviner, activate Diviner's effect to special summon our low. Low then gets to place the Barrier of the Voiceless Voice on our field. We're now going to add, let's see, who could we add? We're gonna go into, oh yeah, so definitely want to add Saphira. I am only running 2 Saphiras. I know Some people do 3. I feel like 2 is plenty. We have low, we have Nadir Servant, we have 3 diviners. Yeah, personal choice is just to run 2. Usually, we have barrier to dig for it if we need it. So now we're going to send Saphira. We've seen this play. Saphira sends prayers. We're going to add our Skull Guardian to our hand. Okay, now we're going to banish Saphira, special summon Skull Guardian, using our low. Low's effect, Channeling 1, Channeling 2, Low's effect gets a special summon herself. Skull Guardian now gets to search as a card. I feel like, so now we got Nadir, prayers. I feel like now we can do the old man line too. So here, yeah, feel pretty comfortable doing that. Okay, so we got the Omni Negate on board in case they do decide to do something. We can Omni Negate on our turn and then Omni Negate on their turn anyways. Yeah. So here, let's just go into the Nadir Servant line. You could Dynamondo right now if you want to get the trap card. Actually, you know what? We'll go ahead and do that. We have Crossout Designator in case they do something anyways. We'll Dynamondo. We're just going to full extension right now. Because then after we use Nadir Servant, we cannot go in the extra deck. So we're going to use Nadir Servant, send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, then add 1 Dogmatica. So you're always going to want to send Gura with Nadir Servant. And then if you go in second, this is a great go in second card as well. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and send Gura and add 1 Dogmatica monster. So we're going to add Dogmatica Maximus. So I am familiar with these cards. I did used to run an Invoke Dogmatica Shadow deck. No longer know where that deck is at. Had to rebuy some Invoke cards for my Blue Eyes structured deck profile. But anyways, yeah, we got Dogmatic Maximus. We get a draw off of Gura. So we get Called by the Grave. We now have 6 cards in hand. Yeah, so we're still popping off a little bit. From here, we're going to special summon Dogmatica Maximus. So if you're not familiar with this card, you can banish 1 fusion, synchro, XYZ, or a link monster from your graveyard, special summon this card. So we're gonna banish Gura. Then during your main phase, you can activate this effect, send 2 monsters with different names from the extra deck, and then your opponent has to do the same thing as well. Also, we cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. So we are now going to send, here is where we want to send cards like Frame Lord Omega, but we're just going to do Wind Pegasus at Ignister. This card states, if another card you control is destroyed by battle on an opponent's card effect while this card is on the field or in the graveyard, you can banish this card, then target 1 card your opponent controls, shuffle it into the deck. So we got some graveyard stuff going on. We're also going to send our Herald of the Arclight. So Herald states, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 ritual monster or 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Okay, so from there, we're gonna add either, we can add prayers or we can add our Saravis, the dragon. I feel like, yeah, that's the line we're gonna go. Let's see, we're gonna special summon this, and then this states, and this will special summon 1 light from your hand or deck. Yeah, so I think we're just gonna keep 1 in hand just for protection and special summon the other 1. So we got our ritual monster. So now we're going to activate the old man, who's gonna put Nadir Servant and prayers back into our deck to special summon itself. Okay. Yeah, so we got Ash Blossom in hand, we got Effect Fade Up, we got Cross Out, we got Called by the Grave, and we got the Ritual Dragon for some extra protection. So we're gonna pass turn. Then during the standby phase, we're going to activate Dynamonda to special summon Skull Guardian, to then special summon, which then sets off Low to special summon herself, which also gets us our trap card. So from there, let's see. So we have the Wind Pegasus in the graveyard. We got our Omni Negate on board. We got the trap card set up. So then we got this card as well. Let's see. The quick effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect, so pretty much the first thing they do, you can return this card from your field to the hand, special summon one light monster, warrior or dragon from your hand or deck. Okay. So we're gonna add this to our hand and special summon our other ritual dragon. This gets special summoned. 2800 defense. And this states, when your opponent would special summon a monster, quick effect, you can return this card to the hand, negate the special summon, and if you do, banish that monster. So you always have to remember it says when. So there's some tricky stuff when it comes to that. It's not just any special summon. Like if their monster gets special summoned and doesn't affect, this does not go through. But if they're just special summoning a monster, no effect going through, you could use this effect. So yeah, so it's a banish. And now that we have this on board, our Radiance is now a double pop as well. So we would have set Called by the Grave and Cross out in case they had stuff. We have a double pop. We have the protection of barriers and Omni Negate, Banish right here. And we also drew Ash Blossom and Effect Failure. So very powerful. And say they are somehow able to crack this board, on the next turn, we get to add a Voiceless voice card and just pretty much go off from there. So yeah, I think that's all I got for you guys today. Very powerful deck. Again, very fun to play, I would say. If you guys are interested in more Voiceless voice content, I can post additional test hands, combo lines and stuff like that. Just let me know. But yeah, so again, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.